What's up, my people, and welcome to the J and K Show. I'm your host, J Rob, and I'm joined alongside by my co-host and my brother from another mother, K. What's good, my brother?
Yo. What's good, man? What's good?
I am so happy. It's season number 2 of the J and K Show. Woo!
Say it again, Jay.
Season number 2 of the J and K Show.
Y'all fucked up and let us back in the room, man.
Well, you abandoned us for a while, man. Where you was at?
Well, let folks
Explain
know.
to the viewers, please.
Yeah, so just making some money moves,
Okay.
right? So we got some big things that are coming for the, coming for the J and K Show. Mm-hmm. So. And listen, I say this, but it really is from all of the folks and supporting us and everything. Yeah, they're the reason why anyone is considering us for bigger platforms and all that other stuff. So we appreciate all of the follows and the love that we get while we're out and shouting us out and following us and everything. All of that means something. So what we're going to do is take all that love, put it back into something. And so we've got some good news coming for folks pretty soon. So
it was just that it was a little cold outside, y'all, and we just took a little hibernation break, you know what I'm saying? But the weather's got a little bit warmer, so we said, why not start season 2?
Yeah,
that's the real reason.
The timing was great, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. I hate the cold, so the timing was great. But
exactly.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, we're gonna get back to business at hand,
and
we're gonna kick season off too with a whole bunch of interesting stories again. So we are gonna start off with a big breaking news story that just happened today. All right, so everybody knows the whole Diddy suit that's been going on, the whole thing with the tape and the videotape with Cassie and the beating that came out a few months back. Well, breaking news today is that the attorneys, the lawyers for Diddy, is now saying that CNN altered the tape of that horrific beating at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, and they altered and edited the videotape. Now, this is big breaking news, and you'll probably want to ask why. The reason is because he was actually in court today. All right, he's going to be in court. I believe it's May 5th, and they wanted to use that videotape in that court case to actually help to convict him. Right now. Because if CNN really altered, and this is just accusations, it's allegedly, this is what his attorneys are saying, right? They are not going to be able to use that videotape of that beating on Cassie in court on May 5th. And that was what they really wanted to use, even though that has nothing to do with the baby oil case and all of this. There's nothing to do with it, but they want to show that he's a violent person. Now, CNN, they are actually denying the allegations. They said that they got the tape, and they was also saying that CNN actually got rid of the original tape. Now, CNN never had the original tape. They got a copy of the source of the tape from their source. They didn't name the source. Nobody knows who the source is. So they said they didn't edit it. They didn't alter it in any way. His attorney is saying they sped it up and they did all of this stuff. So they don't want that to be admissible in court. And that's a big, big problem. So people are saying, well, even if that was the case, even if it was, what does it have to do with anything? It doesn't have to do with anything. He still committed a crime. Everybody saw it on tape. But his team is saying, well, maybe they sped it up, and all the sequences wasn't like it was really played out on their allegedly edited tape by CNN. So I guess my question to you is, Kay, do you even think it matters? Do you think there is a earth-shattering difference that even if it was altered, does that really make any difference in the case against Diddy?
No. No, I don't, man. Altered and edited are not the same. Clearly it was edited, right? Mm-hmm. Like when we're watching it, so I watched it just like millions of others. It's not all in sequence, right? You see a scene and you see another scene. You see him come down the hall. You see what happened. You see him strike her, so forth and so on. So it was edited, but okay. So unless somebody is going to say there was some sort of AI component to where that's not really him or that's not really her, those things allegedly took place. So I'm not sure. Listen, I would imagine if I were in trouble, I'd want some representation, legal representation, like the way they're doing it, right?
Right.
Just being right there, just grabbing at anything, you know. I mean, that's really the kind of defense that you want, and folks that are just going to try to do anything. But I'm not sure that has any kind of merit, you know, along anything. I don't know. I ain't mad at it from a legal defense standpoint,
Right.
but that, I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's like anyone believes that or feels like, come on, it's like, stop it. If you just showed one clip without multiple clips,
Right.
Whether you, and just take out the worst one, and didn't speed it up or whatever. That just that one single clip, is enough for you, for you to turn away from, right? You see Scrams pulling her, you see Scrams stomping her, like, So, I'm saying allegedly,
right.
but he's not denying it. You know what I mean? But just to keep our lawyers happy, I'll say allegedly. But he's not even denying that it happened. So you come out, you say it didn't happen, you come back and then apologize for it happening, and now you're saying, well, it was altered. I mean, all right, whatever.
The only reason why I think it's a big problem is you've seen a lot of these legal cases that happen where there's a lot of guilty people, and they get out of jail and they get off of the hook because of these legal loopholes. And I hate the system. I mean, the legal system just irks the hell out of me, for real, because the only reason Bill Cosby's out of jail is because there was some legal loophole in his case, and he's out on jail even though he committed all of those crimes. So in this case, if it is true, nobody knows if it is true, but I hope to God it's not, because his team may have something that they can fight against that, because this tape was going to be a big point of proof and evidence that they were going to use. Not evidence because it has nothing to do with his case, but it's going to show his personality, that he is a violent person. And if it is true that the tape was altered or edited in any kind of way, that's a big problem. If that's not admissible in his court case, he has some great attorneys working for him right now, and they will find it, and then maybe he will get off, and which would be a huge injustice to Cassie. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but even if it is, this is why I don't like the legal system. So this is what really worries me about this.
I think that I could see it not being admissible. Is it presidential?
Oh, right.
I'm stumbling with that word.
Okay.
Is it? Could it be? Absolutely. If we're saying that this is not a charge, right, and it's not being used in rebuttal, right. And again, I don't know, but if hypothetically he was testifying and said, "Hey, I don't have any. There were no instances in my past to where I lost my temper or I committed any violent acts against anyone," and so on. And then you would show that to say, "Oh, you said it's never anything like this never happened," but that's not what it sounds like this is. And to your point, it's not directly correlating to the case,
right?
So I could see it not being admissible. All right.
Okay.
But here's the other thing. I think the prosecutors know that. I've often believed that the prosecutors have more than they've disclosed. They had the show indictment. That show was called a show indictment, which was enough to get the warrants and all that other stuff. But they're sitting back on some things, in my opinion. It is the federal government. So with that in mind, what do you want to show? What are you going to present? Something that they already seen. You're not going to start using things that that they don't know. So you're going to use the as much as what they already have, what they already know. And so if it doesn't go through, I think they're like, all right, fine, we'll move on to something else. But if it does, it's like, woohoo, great, got it. So that's it.
And even when they were allegedly they sped up the tape. They were saying that they were making it seem where they showed Cassie walking out of the hotel, walking down the hallway, that they sped it up and it's making her look like she was really trying to flee. And even like how they sped it up, allegedly how Diddy was chasing her down the hallway. They're saying, oh, it wasn't really like that. And she wasn't really trying to flee. She could have just been walking very leisurely, not like on the tape, which is what they're trying to say. And also, news came out today that his prosecution team, his attorneys, they were able, and we don't know if it's true, we're going to get further news today, later on this evening, that they actually got the actual source. So CNN got the videotape from a source. They actually said, his attorney said they actually got their hands on the actual tape, the original tape, because CNN,
at the hotel,
right? Okay. Exactly, okay. Right, because the hotel closed down and was probably one of the people who worked on it. They probably sold that to CNN, probably, I don't know. And so I think they got their hands on the original tape. So I think they're gonna actually probably bring that out in the news, and then maybe if this original tape shows anything different, well then maybe they'll have something to work off of that tape. So we'll see how that folds out.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that is. And listen, the trial, it hasn't even officially started, right?
Right.
Like, this is just catnip, man. It just keeps on, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot there. So stay tuned, right?
That's right.
I don't want to say the best is yet to come because of obviously of how sensitive the topic is, but let's just say a lot more to come.
Exactly. We just want justice to be served, and the best happens for Cassie and all the alleged victims. We hope justice is served.
Indeed.
All right.
Yeah. Speaking of, well, I don't know if it's justice. I don't want to say speaking of,
okay.
But the internet was all a rage.
Okay.
So you remember the group from back in the day in the 90s? Group EnVogue.
Oh yeah, EnVogue, one of the best singing groups of all time.
All right, there you go with the
the best women group of all time singers. Yeah, hell yeah.
You say so. But anyway, so one of the singers, Dawn, was it Dawn Robinson?
My sister.
Yeah. I think she was also, wasn't she in the group with Raphael Sadiq? What was that?
Oh, yeah, they had a spinoff after EnVogue, after they started having their problems. She did,
Right, so she posted a video of herself. So evidently, sis has been homeless for 3 years, and she's been living in her car.
Wow.
In her car. So she, the video clip that they showed, she kind of said it and she gave a feeling, or like she had a feeling that it was liberating for her to be able to say it out loud. She attributed it to, she was staying with her parents at one point, or her mom, I don't know if it's parents, but her mother, and intimated that relationship was toxic. Her manager she said her manager supposedly had a place to stay. So she went out to Vegas. I think it was Vegas or LA, one of those places. But then when he got there, the space wasn't the way that he said it was. So she opted to be in a car, and that's where she's been for the past 3 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Her ex, Alan, reached out, according to reports, reached out and said, hey, got a nice personality. I can get you this job. I got I'm working over here at the Hilton. Get something in hospitality, right? You know what I mean? Got a nice smile or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, my man. I was kind of digging that, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Shout out to amicable breakups, right? Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so anyway, so there was just a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, all this other stuff. So when I heard the story, I was like, hey, what about that? I'm going to ask Jay about this.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway when you hear this story? Is it this forever non-ending story about artists in the music industry and how it just doesn't seem sustainable, right? Or is this more of a story about, hey, Dawn and maybe there's more to this that we don't know, and her lifestyle or something that led to her living in this car. So I'm not even sure where to even go with this. But what's your first inclination on it?
So I think of Dawn as like the Bobby Brown of New Edition. Yeah, she always had a little problem with the rest of the group members. I think my favorite was, what was it? Was it Cindy?
Maxine?
No, it was Cindy. Oh, Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy.
Good Lord.
Yeah, Cindy got a whole lot of album covers all
yeah.
stained up and sticky.
Love myself some Cindy. Cindy.
Yeah.
But and Maxine and Dawn, with all the members were in there. But when I first heard the story too, I was like, first I was feeling, sad for her and bad, even knowing that she had her issues. I mean, listen, we all have issues, but she was the problem member of the group, so to speak. But when I think about this industry, it's hard. One day you're up, you're in one of the hottest selling female groups of all time, and the next minute you find yourself, homeless and in a car. And I think a lot of problems that people bring on to themselves is because of themselves. People don't always make the right decisions. I make a lot of bad decisions in my life, and you have to be able to face the repercussions of it. And you were talking about her boyfriend at the time. I was reading that he was saying he was trying to help her out, like you were saying, but not really. I think people sometimes, when they see that people are down on their luck, they want to kind of just keep them down there, for their own. Yeah, they do. They really do.
Don't put that on him.
I mean, she was, from what she said, she said he wasn't really being helpful to her. Now, again, could it just be from her point of view?
Listen, I mean, how much more is he supposed to do? Hey, they're hiring down the street over at the hotel over there. Why don't you go down there and use my name as a referral? That's help.
Right.
Done.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There's levels to this. Like what else are you supposed to do?
Well, she moved. I know she was staying with him for a while, and she just left. She was with her family first, and then she stayed with him for a while, and then she just left. She probably just said, "Hey, listen, thanks for your help, but I'm a grown woman. I will figure it out." And by the way, it's not such a bad thing. Some of the most successful artists out there have lived in their car.
Here we go.
Steve Harvey.
Here we go.
Tyler Perry.
Here we go.
It makes you focus. When you are put in a situation, when you have nothing, it makes you work so damn hard because you're focused, you have that drive, you have the determination to live and to survive. And by the way, there are many people that are homeless, unemployed in this industry. What about that guy from The Cosby Show? He was unemployed. He went over social media, just like she's doing right now, and he was offered a job by Tyler Perry.
Yeah, but I don't get the feeling that this is starving artist, right? And you want to bring up Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey. That was their ascend. That was early in their career, making their bones. This is her decline, right? She was, to your point, she was in this amazing group, tours, money, video, all of that, right? And then in another group, Lucy Pearl, I think the name was, right? Had another hit or two. This is not that. This is not the case of waiting tables while you get put on and while you're trying to strike it. She's a star. And this is the reason why this is a story. Early on in Steve Harvey's career or Tyler Perry's career that you mentioned, no one would have cared because we wouldn't have known who they are. We know Dawn Robinson, right? That's why it's a story. Ain't the same thing. Now, I get it. Many people with different circumstances live how she's living and trying to get by and trying to survive and everything. And I don't want to bury the lead from that. I don't know all the situation. I don't know all the circumstances, but I don't get out of this time to lock and focus on my singing career. And, so I'm going to make this all about, like, I'm not down with the starving artist approach. I guess
what bothers me?
Everything.
A lot of things bother me, but what bothers me is I feel bad for her. But if you and I was homeless and living in our car, nobody would give a shit. And my problem is that celebrities are put on this pedestal, like they're almost better or more important, or we should care more. Do you know how many starving homeless people are in their cars today? Why are we giving so much special attention? Or yeah, I get it, she's a celebrity, but she's just like you and me. So that, not that I don't feel bad for her,
because she's a celebrity.
Yeah, but that rubs me the wrong way. I'm not being a hater or anything like that. I feel like I'm the most fair person in the world. I think we should all be treated equally, and we should all be felt sorry for equally as well. So I don't think her story is any different than many, many, many other stories that's going on today.
Well, I will say this. I agree that we are all the same.
Yeah.
But we are not all treated equally. And
I know that.
And shout out to the woman at the Dwayne Reed that I was in that recognized me and told me I was able to skip the line because of my celebrity. So okay. I'm not there for you, right?
Yeah. Y'all are special.
So that's Jay. Like I like when she was like, "Yeah, you come out of the line, right?" Like, all right, I'm cashing in on whatever little bit of tiny bit of celebrity I have. I'm cashing in.
That's true.
So you go ahead there and be a man of the people, right? Like, miss me with that, bro. I'm walking. I want that stanchion clipped open. Hey, okay?
Yes.
You come on in there. How many you got with you? And if I say, yeah, he's with me, you're going to come right in there with me. So miss me with that,
yeah,
man.
Right. You're so right about that. Right. But you know what? I want to bring up too, what's really important to, especially with these artists, when they're on top of the world and they go down there, when I call it the Bobby Brown of the group, Bobby Brown is lucky, right? Because they stuck their group together, even with their ups and downs, with his flaws and with his personality, they stuck together. Not a lot of times when you have personality flaws like that, listen, you could be the smartest person, you could be the best singer in the world, but when you're part of a successful group like she was, you gotta be able to work with people. And when your reputation goes around in Hollywood as being a problem person to work with, no one's gonna want to work with you. I don't care how talented you are. So a lot of people have to be able to check their personality at the door and think, a bigger picture and look down the hall. Hey, I might want to stay in this industry and be able to work with these top artists and have have my career, have it be at longevity, right? Have it last as long as you can. But when you have personality flaws like that, you might find yourself homeless and no one's going to want to work with you and give you a record deal and say, hey, Dawn, come over and get on this album. No, because your personality kind of stinks. And that's been her reputation in this industry for a while. So I'm really not too surprised she is where she is today. I still feel sorry for her, just like I would feel sorry for you and I if we were in her same situation.
Yeah, listen, you're right. But if that's who you are, right? What's the old saying? No matter where you go, there you are, right? Like you can't run from yourself. Can't run from yourself. Right. So despite that, right? She wouldn't be, if that is indeed the case, she wouldn't be the first person to suffer a self-inflicted wound, so to speak.
Exactly.
Right? So there you go with
exactly.
that. So net, I hope whatever situation she's in, I hope that gets all worked out and for the better. If she wants to stay in her car, I hope that's on the table for her as well.
That is true.
But from the videos, it looks like she's fine and healthy and so on.
And I think someone offered her a job already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to work the same thing like the Cosby guy. Right. It's going to work in her favor. She's not dumb. She's smart. She knows what to do.
Right.
Yeah. She's going to be down and out for a very long time.
Yeah. I agree, man. What do you got, bro?
All right. Listen, I had a really interesting story I want to talk about today. And this one's fun and sexy.
Oh, okay.
I'd be arrested by her any goddamn day of the week if I could. Melissa Mercado. NYPD detective that starred in a raunchy pole dancing rap video. It's called Doing That. Forget the name of the guy. See Cisco or whatever. I don't know. I don't care about his name.
You can't even shout out the artist, man.
Nah, I can't even shout out the artist. But good Lord, I'm going to shout out Melissa. Because she did the damn thing.
Yeah.
But apparently, doing the damn thing probably didn't help her too good in her career. Unfortunately, NYPD detective Melissa Mercado got removed from her special crimes unit because she did this video. Now, Kay, she didn't do this video on hours. She didn't do it at the job. She did this music video on her own time. It's a side hustle. Everybody, tons of people, you, me, Doc, we all got side hustles and stuff like that. Everybody, you know how many people have side hustles? Why is she being ridiculed by the detectives in her unit? Why is she being ridiculed? Now, from last reported, she still has her job, but they removed her from the sex crimes unit. And that's a horrible thing because she was so good at it. She did such a great job. You know, there's no reason to do that. You know, people do their own thing all the time. They can have side jobs, side hustles. They can do what they need to do. They're not committing any crimes. Why should their jobs be altered by it, taken away by it? Why should people look down on it? Why should, just because a woman is beautiful and curvy and vivacious and sexy, why is that a negative thing? Is that a bad thing? No, she did nothing wrong. That's my opinion. So, Kay, as a scholar of this duo, I want to ask you your opinion. She's never done anything bad on the job before, and she still didn't do anything bad on the job today. But do you think that she did anything wrong by moonlighting on her job at the NYPD?
Yes.
How so?
Yeah. So I think certain jobs, right, certain professions, go beyond the, let's just say generically speaking, the 9 to 5. And so representation and how you portray yourself fits into that. The fact that you are a police officer and the sense of credibility and so on, and anything that can maybe infringe on that, ideally can be an issue. I know we use the term, my job, it's my job, but it's not your job. It may be the work you do, but that job belongs to the employer. It belongs to that person. So if someone works for the J&K show and they conduct themselves in a certain way and their behavior is going to be correlated back to them, which then becomes our story. If we don't want that person representing us because of that, then we, most likely me, because you don't want to get involved in that, would terminate that individual, right? So I get it. Moreover, this is not a one-off. There are instances where we've seen this with the police department. I forget the officer. There was one that posed for photos back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Let that one go. Mm-hmm. Like, so there's precedence here, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're on there, polling and doing all whatever, great, it's fine, but not while you're working here. Listen, if she still has her gig, I mean, she's already got one up. And if she's in there moving her body in a way that would be sexual and salacious when you're working in the sex crime unit, I mean, come on, man. Like, really? Like someone has to point that out to you and say that's probably not a good look. The same, something similar happened with what was that? The flight attendant, same thing, doing this, dropping it like it's hot.
Teachers, a lot of teachers out there doing things.
Like, and then they do. Right? It's like for what? For what? So anyway, it makes sense to me because the job is not yours. I don't give you, well, it's my job. No, it's not your job. That job belongs to the employer. Period. Mm-hmm. That is the work you do for that job. Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, with that being in mind, act accordingly. Act accordingly. And you and I have been on opposite sides of this. I'd say treat a job like a job. Treat it like a job. And then if you know the company or the environment or the brand that you work for, and you need to conduct yourself a certain way, and you don't, shame on you.
I don't have any problem. Listen, if you're telling me there was something written in the handbook that she couldn't go out and make music videos with rap artists or whatever else she wanted to do, if you're telling me that it was in that book, okay, and she went ahead and did it, I hear you. I agree with you. What I don't agree with you is that it's not her job. If somebody hires me to do something at the present time while I'm holding it, it is my job because I'm an employee. So it is my job. They're the employer, okay? But it is my job currently while I am doing it. If I'm let go, then it is no longer my job. And I don't also subscribe to the thing that I am my job. I've worked for many companies, right? And I am always, I don't care. I've had people, I've worked at big stations, whatever, and I've people ask me, oh, you work there? And I've literally had to tell people, listen, I'm only there to keep the lights on and the food in my stomach. I am not there. I am not them. I am Jason Craig Robinson. That is who I am. I am not where I work. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not a slave to any job, okay? You pay me for my services. You have no right to tell me what I can do and what I can't do on my off hours. You have no right to tell me. And then how dare you, when unless I'm doing something wrong on the job, then of course, right? And then I have to face the ramifications. If I'm doing something wrong on the job, you have every reason to discipline me because I messed up and I did something wrong on the job. How dare you look into what I'm doing after hours, on the weekends, on my own time? That makes zero sense to me. And I think a lot of it is because just people don't like women. And people don't like sexy women, especially men in this world. Because I don't know if it was a man cop that did this, if it would be such a big uproar story. I don't think so. But because it's for a curvy, sexy woman, I think that's the problem. No, I'm serious.
I know you are, which is why this shit is hilarious. Only you here at this moment would make a proclamation that men don't like sexy women. What the hell?
I mean, what I'm saying. No. You know what I'm saying.
I know what, stop it. No, you know what I'm saying. I know what you said. Okay. I know what the hell you said.
Okay, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what the hell.
They hate on women.
No one knows what the hell you're talking about.
Okay,
right?
so let me explain myself. They hate on women. Doc, you know what I was saying.
This side of the room. We loving sexy women.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I love sexy women too.
No,
we all saw the video.
Oh, come on, man.
Okay,
stop it, man. Like, come on, miss me with that, bro. Please.
I must concur with
Yo, Doc, put that shit on loop when we're done, bro.
I love the sexy women too myself. So, please explain further, sir.
Okay, fine. Since you guys don't understand what I'm saying.
All right. Oh, so now we're not smart enough, right?
There's sexism going on in this world. We all know it, right? We all know it. And because this woman, by all accounts, no one ever said anything negative about her doing her job. No one said a one word about it. But because these guys feel some type of way, we know that they was all probably trying to push up on her at the job and stuff like that. And she probably rejected them. And now they're talking all this nonsense because, she probably rejected their advances. And now they have a problem with it. All these guys and saying, this looks bad. Like these guys haven't been, a lot of these people in the police department, these men, like they haven't been to strip clubs before, like they haven't done that before. Stop it. It's just nonsense.
No, Jay, listen, Hollywood even now, right? When they are, many times you'll see NYPD in movies, in television shows. You know, we're at the point now where all that stuff has to get approved, right? Because at one point, you didn't have to, and then the NYPD said, well, listen, it's our brand, and we want to ensure that we have a certain level of representation of how we want this brand to be portrayed. They're doing it with Hollywood. They're certainly going to do it with their own employees. And so I don't see any problem with that. And then I will volley that thing back across the net. about your job, their job. No, it's not your job. New York State is a hire at will state. And hire you and fire you.
Well, that's true. I know. Okay.
And so
but at the time while I have it, it's my job.
No, that is what you do for a living. That job is never yours. It's like renting a home. You live there, right? You live there. That's your place of residence, but you don't own that home. And it's the same.
So, and they don't own me either.
It's the same process. So,
okay.
Right. And if you don't take care of that home the way that landlord wants you to, that landlord's going to ask you to leave. You have to leave because you don't own that. It's not yours. There's an arranger there. It shouldn't be that difficult. Shouldn't be that difficult to understand. And again, there's a history of this. So I don't feel any kind of way or, like bad for her. She bad, but I don't feel bad for her.
Right.
Right. And by the way that you pointed out, she didn't lose her gig anyway.
She didn't. Which shows you that she didn't do anything wrong. No, which makes it even worse. It does make it even worse.
That doesn't show me anything. It shows me that she's in video gyrating and carrying on, like you said, raunchy video, right? And she's in the sex crime unit, what have you.
Right.
So it's like, come on, man. It's not a good look.
Yeah, but this, you made my point. She didn't do anything wrong because if she did, they would have let her go. She's still keeping her $144,000 job. They're not letting her go.
You have no idea.
What?
If an HR policy is done the right way, you don't know. You don't know. You're not supposed to know. It's a confidential.
I'm not supposed to know what? That if they let her go or not?
No. What? If she was disciplined or not. Maybe it did not rise to the level of termination. But she
was removed from her position.
But she could have still been. She could have still been written up. There could have been some other. She could be on a PIP, and that stands for Performance Improvement Plan. So many things.
That is true.
There's suspension. All kinds of things to be there. Maybe it didn't rise to the level of termination. Maybe her union negotiated to kind of keep her there. Maybe she's on a last and final. So I think it's disingenuous of you to say, well, nothing happened, therefore, nothing's wrong because nothing happened. Well, we don't know if anything happened or not. We know that according to the reporting that she wasn't terminated, but we don't know if nothing else happened beyond
them taking her out of
being reassigned. So to me, I just said, like, folks, come on, man. Like, stop acting. People want to have these freedoms and these liberties and so on. I get it. Then start your own. Then do your own. I just have an issue as a business owner with people being in your space and then want to dictate what they want to do. And then question you as to why you're questioning them. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. If you genuinely feel that way, then go someplace else and do something else. Simple.
Listen, I'm just a very equal guy, and I hate the hypocrisy of the NYPD with men versus women. I just hate it. Yeah, and this is shining very bright right now.
All you're saying to me, well, what I hear you saying is you would have rather seen some guy on the pole than her. Because all this equal shit.
I watched that video a million times.
This whole equal stuff you're talking about.
Didn't I just say I would like to be arrested by her, handcuffs and all?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. That's why I read off the segment.
You're advocating for this equal thing. You want to see Officer Jim Johnson slide up and down the pole?
I just want women to be treated equally and fair.
Well, that's a whole nother
this ties right in.
It's a whole nother show topic.
Well, that is.
The fact that you said equal and fair. That's not going to happen. That is not life. Not even just for her. That's for everyone. If people combine equal with fair, and you and I have debated this before.
But when you know better, do better. And we can always try to be there. Strive to be better. Oh my God. You know better, do better. Well, that's all I'm trying to say.
And that's why I give you a pass. Because you don't know shit.
I give you a pass.
Because you don't know shit, right? He doesn't know better.
I'll record season 2 with this guy. He's still a good guy deep down in his heart. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, come on, man. It's like yelling at a baby for shitting on itself. It's like, what are you going to do? But you're just going to clean it up and just kind of go back to it. That's Jay, man.
Listen, for all you women out there, I stand with you. Melissa, I stand with you. And I will always support you in any other videos that you want to make in the future.
Her, right?
And keep your job because you're a hell of a detective.
Yeah, that's a real simp move for him to sleep with you. That's what that is. So, hey,
what we got, bro?
So this next story. So this is an interesting story. Someone has, you and I talk about often how there's another person, another group, another entity jumping into the whole podcast arena.
Yeah.
So the latest to throw that hat into the arena is none other than former First Lady Michelle Obama.
She reappeared!
Michelle Obama and her brother Craig Robinson.
Oh, my brother from another. Oh, might be the same mother. I'm Craig Robinson.
So jumps inside. So they launched this this podcast. But the interesting part is, man, there was some blowback a little bit. People were somewhat questioning whether or not folks have an appetite for this, an appetite for their show. So
for their show.
A couple of things. So the first thing I noticed when I saw the press release and the advertising, listen, someone needs to check the birth certificates because I swear for God, they're twins. Like Michelle looks like Craig with a wig, for God's sake. I mean, they look so much alike. So put that aside. But what people were pulling away from this is when you looked at Michelle's kind of social media followings, all in, right? Multiple platforms, Instagram, Facebook, so forth and so on. She's north of 100 million followers. Great from there. The first episode that they did was 36,000 views.
36,000. And when was the first episode? How long ago?
Recently.
Okay.
Right. 36,000 episodes.
36,000, okay.
Right. So they didn't see the converting over to the episodes. Then the second episode went down, and at the time that they're reporting it, 10,000 views. Okay. So as you know, in our business, right, when we see that, there should be a little bit of buzz on the first one, especially if it's somebody known. There's some buzz. And then from that first show, it should go up. Yeah. Right? But this went down, right? It was like a movie release, that second weekend kind of thing. So some folks are saying that there is, no appetite for this. That's my question to you. Do you think this is that the stats are a representation of an oversaturation of podcasters? Or is this more indicative of maybe things have changed? Maybe the climate has changed. Maybe that love affair that folks had, liberals and Dems and so forth and so on. I think you understand where I'm going with that. That's changed. Therefore, she's feeling the effects of this. Now, the one thing I will add to that, though, is I think it's more her brand when I say that, because it's not a political show that they're doing. So which one do you think more of it is? Yeah, before you even gave me the second version, I was going to say that. It's the political climate now. You think so? Yeah, it's a political climate, and the Dems are no longer in power. And, I'm actually surprised a little bit because there's been a lot of rumors going around that there was a problem between her and Barack because he showed up at many recent events without Michelle by his side. I think Jimmy Carter's funeral, he was alone. The inauguration, he was alone. He just attended a recent basketball game. He was alone. And people started saying, hey, what's going on with Michelle and Barack? Like, what's going on? So I heard this was, she just had a very recent appearance for the first time since, missing the inauguration, that she's coming out and doing things right now. I just think, with this political climate, what's going on there, I'm not going to say that their popularity is down. I mean, Michelle and Barack are always huge, right? She's a brilliant woman. I just think that she's a brilliant
woman. Not sure why you're laughing. She is. It's a fact. But so I just think that the field of podcast, it's saturated, like everybody and their mama.
Wait, you just jumped. You said it was the second. Now you're saying it's the first? You said it was political is the reason. It's politically driven. I gave you two choices. Well, you said it was the second one. So now you're jumping. The second one.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of everything. There's not just, here's the thing. There's more than one way to skin a cat, okay? So, there's never just.
So you think it's both?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
Great.
Yeah, I don't think there's just one. I mean, do you think there's just one? Come on. I can see both sides of the story. We both know that the podcast field is saturated. Everybody and their mama has one, right?
Yeah, but I don't see that.
And a lot of celebrities have them too.
Right, but I don't necessarily see this as a podcast saturation issue. I think that you have your legion of fans, and they're going to go with you, right? If you are listening to XYZ person over here, and then someone that you're passionate about, that you support, has a podcast, well, ideally, that's where you go. Hey, you're going to leave this one, hopefully not the J&K show, and then go over to Michelle and Craig. I forgot what the name of their show was, so forgive me for that, Michelle and Craig. But I think the bigger story is, even if it is, to your point, politically driven, it's still saying a lot. Again, we haven't even talked about what his follow-ship is. Because listen, at one point he was a head coach of a major university at Oregon State. He's known in his own right. He worked for the New York Knicks for a bit.
Okay.
So he's got his own follow-ship as well. But this is Michelle Obama, right?
She should have started one with Barack.
Again, a composite total of north of 100 million followers. For that to convert over to 36,000 views, it is not good on any day, by any measure, by any metric. It is a bad look.
Well, you brought up a good point. It's Craig. Craig's the problem. Ain't nobody want to hear from Craig. Get Barack on there, and trust and believe we would not be talking about this topic on the podcast today. Get Barack in there. Nobody wants to hear from Craig.
I would.
You don't agree with that?
I would not disagree.
Okay, good.
I would not disagree with the component of it that would more people tune in because Barack's 100%. On it? Sure. Right. I'll give you that. But the notion that Craig is an anchor pulling down the show.
He is.
I'm not going to listen to Michelle because I've got this benign, innocuous brother sitting next to me. Come on, stop it.
People love to see love, right? And with all these rumors that's been swirling around, is problems going on with Michelle and Barack. Can you imagine both of them coming together on a podcast together versus Michelle and her brother? Ain't nobody want to see no brother and sister tandem doing no. It's working for the Kelsey boys, but that's different, right? Because they're but they're doing their thing. But nobody knows about Craig Robinson.
Well, listen. Here's what I'd say.
And nobody cares what he's saying.
I think Michelle can get 36,000 views on her own.
She would do better if she was doing it by herself.
I don't know.
Because he has to be a part of it, and he has to say things to make himself feel important and like he's smart and stuff like that. And I'm not saying he's not smart. I'm not saying that.
Really? Because that's what I heard.
Listen.
Let me
rephrase it.
He too went to Princeton. He too went Ivy. He went to Princeton as well.
This is
just like her.
This is Michelle, just trying to bring up her brother. Trying to put her brother on her back, and let me help you out to get a little bit of shine. That's basically what she's doing, which is fine.
No.
That's what she's doing.
Stop. No. I disagree. I don't think. Listen, you ain't coming for Craig. Craig ain't did nothing to nobody. No time, no way.
Do nothing. Ain't nobody cares about.
You ain't coming for Craig.
Again, I don't have nothing against Craig. I'm just stating the obvious. Listen,
it is not obvious to who?
No,
I'm your blind ass.
No, I'm just saying there is nothing wrong with Craig. He's a smart guy. All I'm saying
nothing wrong with him. You just said he's
I'm just all I said was that nobody wants to hear any. I just said when I said nobody wants to hear anything he's saying.
That's not true.
The mass, a majority of the people don't want to hear.
I would rather hear Craig than Michelle.
Well, you're crazy.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, you ask anybody else. You speak to anybody else in this world. Listen. And no one is going to say that statement. No one is going to make that statement.
Come on.
And I don't even believe you. You're just saying that to just talk. No. You don't even believe that.
No, I do because I do believe that.
Okay, explain. Why do you want to hear from Craig?
Well, because as I mentioned before, he was head coach of Oregon State Beavers when they were in the Pac-12.
Who the hell are the Beavers?
Oh my God, man!
So I mean,
you were just so. It is the Oregon State University.
Okay.
Like you just stop.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying, Kay, is that the majority.
That's not all.
No, listen, I'm not saying. I'm just saying the majority of people don't want to hear from Craig.
Multiple times you said nobody wants to hear from Craig.
Okay, now you're being technical.
Then I said me.
Okay, so let me rephrase it.
Then I said me. Then it was well, nobody but you.
Okay,
well, then you asked me why. So it wasn't a throwaway statement. This is what we do. We went back and forth, and I'm telling you why. One. He was head coach of a major Division I college team. Yeah. Right? He was also a part of the New York Knicks coaching staff. I would want to hear what he has to say. I'm a sports guy. I would love to hear that perspective. He also played at a high level as well. There's absolute Yeah, and so here's the thing, because Jay doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything. He didn't know. He was like, I said the Beavers. He doesn't even know what it is.
It doesn't.
People are laughing at you.
My point is, Doc, can I get you in here for a second? Because my point, Doc, is that the majority of people in this world, I said I'll rephrase it, a majority of the people in this world don't want to hear from Craig Robinson.
No, I just...
They rather hear from me, I'm a Craig Robinson, or the actor Craig Robinson. Us two Craig Robinsons have more of an interest in that Craig Robinson.
I don't get this. More people don't want to hear from him.
Doc,
is there an anti-Craig movement or something that I'm not aware of?
Doc, can you help us out, please?
What do you mean people don't want... Like, that's the part where... Okay. What do you mean people don't want to hear from him?
Doc, I said I rephrase it. And
majority or otherwise. How do you know people don't want to hear from him?
I rephrased it, so I said a majority.
So regardless of majority, I'm saying a majority. Okay. I'm close. But where did you get this feeling that a majority of people don't want to hear from this brother?
Because they don't.
Right.
Can you weigh in, Doc, please?
Great.
I mean, on average, I would say more people would probably tune in to hear what Michelle is talking about. Right. But I wouldn't say that they don't want to also hear what Craig is saying.
He's disparaging this brother. He doesn't know anything about him. Jay is so unplugged and so clueless when it comes to sports and anything. He doesn't even know the name of the teams, the mascots or anything. But is comfortable in his ignorance to the point that he'll even mock this stuff and look hella fucking stupid. But he's okay. So maybe going forward, we'll put him in a clown outfit or something with the big red nose and shoes and shit, so that the rhetoric that comes out of his mouth matches the visual. Listen, I'm not disrespecting him.
Neither am I.
This idea that people don't. I don't know of any Craig Robinson movement where people don't. To the point that he says that it's pulling the show down. So here we've got Michelle's got a composite followership of north of 100 million people, and the first episode from the episode garners somewhere in and about 36,000 views. And this jamoke turns around and wants to put that on Craig. Like, it's mind-blowing. For no other reason than that you've got a hard-on for this woman just because you do. For no reason. She hasn't earned anything. But
Michelle hasn't. Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Excuse me.
Have mercy on this man that he does not know what he's talking about. Dear Lord, he does not know what he's talking about. God bless this man. Pray for him. I will pray for him.
Pause, man. Because if I have to rely on the blessings from the Lord based off of your say so. I am proper, you know what? Okay, so stop there.
Listen,
so stop.
All I'm saying is you think I'm trying to tear this man down. All I'm simply saying is he is not a ratings puller. Okay, nobody knows. A majority of the people, when you say Craig Robinson, they're not going to be thinking about that Craig Robinson. They're not even going to be thinking about this Craig Robinson.
Right.
They're probably going to think about the comedian and actor Craig Robinson.
Right.
So all I'm saying is he's not helping whatsoever. If it was her and Barack, the show would do way, way, way better.
And everything you just said, I agree with.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's not all you said. You started out by saying that the reason why they didn't do well was because of him, and he was essentially pulling it down because no one wants to hear what he has to say.
Well, no one is interested in hearing. The majority of people in Hollywood and around the world, a majority of the people don't. People don't even know who he is.
But he's
so
not
they have no interest in hearing from him.
But the show is not suffering because he's there, Jay. The show. If anything, he's not adding value, but he's not devaluing the product. He's not taking it. No one's saying, "Oh my God!" It's like you can't have it both ways. You can't have him insignificant that no one knows him, and then say he's affecting it negatively. If you don't know him, then he can't be affecting it negatively. Like you can't have it both ways. You can't even pick a side on someone that you don't have an opinion on if you don't know. You don't even know if you don't like them. You don't even know if you do like them.
Well, people don't like people. People can look at me. Well, people do that all the time. Not that it's right, but people do that all the time.
Well, we're talking about this situation. And if anything, he's got the biggest cosign in the world. Someone that you say that the majority of people love and they want to tune in. And if she's co-signing him, that's enough for you to at least
we know why he's there. Well, not really, because we know why he's there. And there's nothing against. We know why he's there, and it's fine because she's going to try to put her brother on her back, and it's fine. So I expect most relatives to do that.
Okay,
but they understand that they need to help them. So that's just her helping him out. That is her helping him out, and that's fine. And I respect her for that.
Well,
she's a brilliant woman.
Evidently, the entire product needs help.
Well, yeah, but
all of it needs help.
Whether the ratings are smash hit or not, she's still helping him out.
Well,
whether it's successful or whether it's not.
I want to be clear, and I want to go on record from one podcast content creator to another.
Yes,
I'm not, and nor is Jay shooting shots at anyone. And maybe that's why I don't. Maybe that's why I feel a little uncomfortable with it, where I think it's wrong, and I'm kind of also stepping up for it. This shit ain't easy, stepping up here, right? Doing this kind of thing, and the notion that we're gonna say, oh, right, well, you haven't heard it, you haven't seen it, you don't know anything. And then essentially, because numbers didn't appear based off the reporting, you immediately go at his neck. I just think that's wrong, man.
Well, you're the one who brought up the numbers.
I know I brought the numbers as a topic, and I asked you if
I wasn't going. You asked me my opinion.
I asked you your opinion on whether you felt it was oversaturation, or if it was politically driven. I never brought Craig up, her brother up, as a reason for anything. You went there.
Right. Because
so when you mean, so don't put it on me. I just said saturation or politically driven was behind the reason why it didn't function as well.
You've seen plenty of people and plenty of hosts do shows that did not work out. You've seen that happen to Magic Johnson. You've seen that happen to the Cosby girl, I forget her name, who've had talk shows that was so horrible. Tempest Bledsoe had to cancel these shows because of their just lack of skills on air doing the job, right? So, and you've seen their ratings just plummet. So who are we to say that that's not a reason? We're all speculating here. You're asking me my opinion on why do I think the rating? Well, that's my opinion, and I think it's a very good one. I've seen lots of people listen, Magic Johnson's a brilliant businessman, brilliant. But when he had his chance to do a talk show, he was horrific.
Right.
Horrific. One of the worst. Him and Tempest Bledsoe was one of the worst.
Yeah, okay? But you saw the product, right? In this case, this just came out of the gate. You haven't even had an opportunity to see the product, which is the reason why I didn't talk about the product of the show, if you recall. I gave you two reasons which I thought may have been it. One was saturation, had nothing to do with the product. Two, political climate, nothing to do with the product. I'm not going after Michelle, Craig.
No, no one's going after them.
Or the show that they produce. I'm not criticizing him for being and saying that he's the reason why it didn't function. You went there all on your own and decided to do that with Craig, and I just think that was a little bit out of pocket. You should look into the camera and apologize to
Craig, you're my namesake. I got nothing but love for you, all right? There are 2 Craig Robinsons right here.
You're confusing people on the name of the show, but please go ahead, finish.
I'm just saying, my name is...
Are we putting governments out there?
Anyways, you know my name is. Good Lord. All I'm saying is, ain't nothing wrong with Craig Robinson, the man, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with him. But if the show is going down, that's on him. Because Michelle is a genius. Oh. She's brilliant. She's bright. She can speak amazing. It's not her.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
All right. That's where we're going to leave it.
Okay.
All right. Well, you know what time it is? Season number 2. What do you say? J and K. Let's get at it, brother. What we got?
All right. Wow, that was a deep one, man. I can't with you. I'm exhausted. Yo, Doc, I'm exhausted, man, with this guy, man.
Yo, I mean, I'm sorry I got to screw y'all sometimes.
I love it. We're back, baby. I love this.
Yeah, but like my G, pace yourself, dog. It's the first episode of the second season. Leave some in the tank.
You brought up that topic, not me.
So polarizing with you. Anyway.
I'm saying.
All right, so let's see what this says. Mm-hmm. It says this is from Jamel from Atlanta, and this came to us via Instagram. It says there's a low-key rift between me and one of my friends. We've been boys for years, dating back to our college days, and we're both in our 40s now. The cause for the rift is not even the issue; it's how he apologized about it. It was over something that we had an agreement on. An understanding, a gentleman's agreement about, and he violated it. The problem is he claims he wasn't aware that he got out of pocket, so he takes solace in that it wasn't his intent. So to him, no big deal. When our other friends and family heard about it, they too said he was wrong and should apologize, but he was dug in and continued to say he disagreed. Then one day, after so many days, he just out of the blue said to me, "Hey, yo, my bad on that thing." That was it. Honestly, it felt hollow, but he continues to fall back on, he apologized. And what more can he do? Technically, he's right. So I keep my feelings to myself, but the truth is, I feel some kind of way. I feel like a bitch for feeling this way, but after weeks of him denying it, and then him giving me the most lamest apology ever, it's difficult to move on. That's my bro. I love him. Pause. Not like that. He put that in parentheses.
Okay.
But it's a strain for sure. What should I do? Well, that's a lot.
What should I do? So you want to know my answer on what he should do? Or he wants to know my answer, what should he do?
Yeah.
I mean, so...
All right, Jamel. Buckle in.
I mean, Jamel, you're saying that he apologized to you. So I don't know what else more that he can do. I mean, if you're still feeling this way, I mean, maybe you should end the friendship. I mean, why should you stay in something that you feel uncomfortable with? You know, I will give you a little bit of advice, Jamel. You know, the thing, our friends are hard to come by. And sometimes you just have to take them for who they are, right? Because I'm pretty sure your shit stinks too. So, you know, if you look at it that way and understanding that you are not perfect, he's not perfect, your other friends, family members, strangers in this world, nobody's perfect in this world. You know, do you know sometimes people don't even get an apology? You ever thought about that? So the mere fact that your friend of many, many years thought about it and listened to the advice from you and the rest of their friends, and he actually apologized, well, then that's what it is. What more do you really want from this guy? I mean, it seems like you're kind of squeezing blood and squeezing, milk from the cow. You can't squeeze any more from it. So I think you just have to take solace in yourself and see where you may have went wrong yourself. And then again, I don't even know what the issue was. Maybe I'd get a little more into what it was. Was it something so important? I mean, I don't know. Did he, cheat on you? Did he cheat? Did he take your woman? Did he sleep with your woman? I don't know. What did he do? I don't really know all those details, but from what you're saying, from what Jamel is saying to us, his friend apologized to him. What more is he really supposed to do? I don't know. I think just accept it and move on.
I know what I hear what Jamel is saying. I get it. So he didn't specifically say what it was, but whatever it was, it hurt him. And I think that's the thing that he's saying. It hurt. And I believe that Jamel feels like that's my guy, that's my bro, would be more in tune to like what he did and how it affected someone that equally cares about him. But it sounds like his friend is not from that place. I
don't know if his friend is not from that place.
Well, yeah. So, because to me, it sounds like the friend who didn't apologize, right? And what he's saying, it was like it wasn't.
He did apologize.
Well, hold on,
okay,
please. That it was that he didn't apologize for a while, and then eventually he said it. But it feels like he was browbeaten into it. And then when he finally said it, it's like, my bad, right? So it's kind of, I think.
Well, did he technically apologize and say, I apologize, or I'm sorry? Or did he say, my bad?
Well,
what did he say?
According to the letter, he said, my bad on that thing. So
well, that's not an apology.
Maybe that's the rub, right? Like that's part of it. That's his way of apologizing, but which goes to the overall message, which is one, I don't believe I did anything wrong. Two, all right, fine. If you want me to say something, my bad on that.
You can't say my bad. You have to say I apologize.
Says my bad on that. And so that's light.
Right.
So he's trying to do what you said, it sounds like to me, which is swallow that and accept his brother for how he is. But it's a challenge. Listen, man, I think that people often, when it comes to apologies, a lot of us, it's very simple to do. There is a lot of us where it is difficult to do, right? And I think generally those that it's difficult to apologize view the apology for or about themselves. So when you say, I've already apologized once, or I've said it once, or I've said, like they're thinking about themselves. To me, I think it's about the person that you did something to, the person that was offended, the person that was hurt. So from that standpoint, if I say it 1 or 100 times, if I did something wrong, then I'm going to put that out there, because the most important thing to me is not standing there with an apology clicker. Right. The most important thing to me is making certain that the person that I hurt feels better. Right. That I regain their trust. That I broke something and then I put that back together. That to me is the most important thing. And if it's for someone that I care about, well, then I want to do that even more so. Right. Right. And so, but I don't know if generally people feel that way. They get caught up in, I've already said it. How many times do I need to say, listen, you do it as many times you freaking need to do it.
So let me ask you this. So let's say you cheat on your girl and she catches you and you profusely apologize. Not once, not twice, not 3 or 4 times, but you apologize 400 times. And let's just say, Kay, this never stops. She keeps For 10 years, she keeps asking you every other day to apologize. So you're cool with apologizing every day for 10 plus years or for the rest of your life, even though you've apologized numerous times over the last 10 years. So you're saying you're fine with that because that's just what she needs.
If the relationship is important enough for me,
you will apologize every day.
Absolutely. Right. Like I did that. And it's, and let me also say, it's more than just the words. It's the work as well too. I wouldn't just be saying I apologize. I would be showing, in this case, you said cheated.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to show that in how I move and things that I do to regain
and not
it.
do it again.
And it really is about putting it back together, especially if you and that person were in a good place.
Yeah.
Your behavior, your actions broke that. Shut it down. Things are different now. Just saying I apologize is not enough. You need to put the work in. And I don't, and also, how does that person receive it? We're not all wired the same way. There's a, we talk about love languages, right? What's somebody's apology language? Maybe they only need to hear it once. Maybe they need to hear it multiple times. Maybe they need to hear it as well as you're doing something. All I know is this. You created this mess. You fix it. You are not in position to say, well, I already apologized. Like how many times you want me to? You do what's necessary if the relationship is important to you. If it's not, all right, then that's an answer too. For me, the things that, now it's rare. I don't screw up. But the times that I did, listen, I remember a time I was dating and I dropped the ball with somebody I was dating. Not cheating. Don't even focus on I don't cheat. But I screwed something up. And then I felt bad about it and I apologized for it immediately. I apologized a couple of times. I said it, I texted it. And then I went and bought flowers, right? She was at work, but I didn't just buy a bouquet of flowers. I bought 12 bouquets of flowers.
Well, you do that every other day.
So here they came, one after another. They kept coming in. Delivery person, flowers for so-and-so, flowers for so-and-so, to the point that she was overwhelmed by it. Like she literally was like, okay, enough. She tapped out. It was really like, I said, I'm really sorry. She goes, I get it. She was one of those people that didn't like a lot of attention. Her coworkers were like, oh my God, like someone must really love you. Like she was overwhelmed by it and knew that I was sincerely apologetic for what I had done and I was trying to fix it. That is what gave her the pathway back. And that's what's key. Generally, if it's someone that you are friends with or you care about, you want to forgive that person, right? Generally speaking, you want to forgive that person. But people want to feel good about the decisions they make. They want to feel good about the person they see in the mirror. They need a pathway back so that they can also feel good about themselves. It is difficult to move to the healing stage if we can't reconcile the acknowledgement and an apology phase. Give them that, and so that it's easier for them to come back into the fold. That's what I did with her. I overwhelmed her with that apology, and it made her easier to accept it and say, okay, he is, and moreover, I'm okay with it. Like I feel good about it. Like I'm not hating myself because I forgave someone who really didn't forgive me, or who really doesn't forgive, who didn't really apologize. He said it, but he didn't really mean it. I don't trust that. He may do it again. That's a part of it. And if you notice, all of what I said has to do with the person giving it, right? I mean, receiving it, not from the person giving it. So
I disagree with you because what you did right there in your situation, you just bought the apology. You knew what you were doing. That wasn't really for her. That was for you. You bought the apology. I more agree with what you said about things that you do. Things that you do doesn't depend on what you're buying. First of all, she knew what you were doing, okay? That didn't work anymore. Like you bought her forgiveness.
How do you,
that is not a true you just said dozens of
flowers.
You right.
That's not buying her.
You just got ridiculous. So you bought her forgiveness.
I said I overwhelmed her.
Right, no, it's the same thing. You bought her forgiveness.
Somebody said, listen.
Okay, I don't want listen, if someone is apologizing, don't buy me. Don't buy my forgiveness.
Copy that.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Well, I ain't never do nothing wrong to you anyway, so I don't have to worry about you doing that. But I'm just saying,
noted, motherfucker.
Don't ever buy my forgiveness. Do something that entails zero money. Like, just apologize. If you apologize, I accept it.
Right.
And one thing about Jamel, listen. Well, I don't know if he technically apologized. If he didn't, well, then he's wrong. He had to apologize to you. My bad is not good enough. But if he did apologize to you, right? And I find it hard to believe that he didn't, if that's your friend. I kind of find it hard to believe. If you still don't really feel it, then unfortunately, you may never feel it. Then you're just going to have to move on. There's no reason for you to stay in this friendship if you don't feel it. No. He can apologize to you 1,000,000 times. He can buy you, a car. He can, try to buy you forgiveness like KO did in his situation. But if you really don't feel it, you're just not going to feel it. You might get a new whip or some new car or something. I don't know. But I'm saying you're never going to feel it. And there's no need to stay in a friendship, a relationship with a woman, a man, a family member, whatever case that is, if you don't or if you cannot accept their apology. You just need to call it a day, call it a friendship, call it a relationship, and keep it moving. That's my best advice to you, Jamel. It's really all I have, bro.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note,
it's been real. Hopefully helped Jamel out.
I don't think you did, bro.
I don't know if you did, because I don't know what that guy.
You just told him that. You just told Jamel to leave his boy, right?
No, I didn't tell him. I said if he doesn't feel it close within his heart, I hope they stay together. Yeah. But I'm saying, but for real though, if he doesn't feel it, if you don't feel it with a friend, whether it project, would you continue to stay? If you was Jamel, would you continue to stay in a relationship?
I fight for the relationships are important to me. And you need to fight for that. You guys met, and he said from college, and they're in their 40s now. Yeah. You got to put a little bit more in that. And I think the reason why he reached out is because he's wrestling with that. And it kind of sticks in his craw a bit. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I will say, though, is just in counter to what you said, the way that you said, hey, if it's you, someone apologizes, you're good. You don't need to do this or do that, so forth and so on. And that kind of correlates to what the comment that I made. Like, we talk about love language, but maybe there's an apology language. So if someone, technically speaking, does something to Jay, does you wrong, Jay's apology language is, you don't need to beat me over the head with a bunch of apologies, right? Give me you apologize and I'm good. That's essentially what I get from that. But the next person may need more than that. And that's why I said, I believe that it's not about the person giving the apology. It's meeting the person that's receiving it. Right. Give that to what they need. Now, the example I gave, she loves flowers. She needed it. Like that. I knew that was something that would speak to her. Wasn't buying it.
It was.
It wasn't buying it.
Oh, in my opinion, it was.
And so, because exactly. Your opinion, that's what that is, because you don't accept that. And that's the point where I think the disconnect is with a lot of people. People are looking at it from their perspective as opposed to the receiver. I think if we do it that way, more often than not, people will land where they need to be. But listen, the whole world could stand to attend a master class on apology.
So if you apologize to this young lady and you meant it from the bottom of your heart and you did it several times, and she only accepted it when you sent her dozens and dozens and dozens of roses, You think that's good on her part, or not accepting your apology for what it was and only accepting it with the dozens and dozens of roses? I think that's a problem.
I think it's not
that means you can be bought.
I think it's all of it though. It's all of it.
That's a big problem to me.
Well, that's
fine. I'm not buying anybody's apology. I'm not doing that.
Well, it's not viewed.
And I don't care. And I don't even care if that's their language. That's their apology language. I'm not doing that because I don't need to buy your apology. If I apologize to you and I mean it, because me personally, I don't say anything I don't mean. I just don't. So if I personally apologize to someone, I apologized. Because if I didn't feel sorry or apologize, I wouldn't apologize. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to even fucking go with you. Like you know.
But
Doc,
Jamel said he didn't apologize, so I don't know.
You know, Doc, we're gonna put this topic to bed, but it kills me how Jay talks to me like a co-host that just met this motherfucker, right? Like I know this dude, and some of the shit he says. Like, I just like, all right, you know what? For the fans' sake and the sake of this show, let's keep the shit moving. But I just be wanting to yell cap every time he starts saying something.
This guy, trust and believe.
Come on, man.
We know what we're talking about in the J&K show. Listen, Jamel, I hope we helped you out, okay? Listen, I think I can speak for the both of us. We want you guys to keep your friendship. No, we do. When it comes to that stuff. We want you to keep your friendship. But guess what? If you can't keep it, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. What can we tell you? We wish the best for you too, but it is what it is. You got to be comfortable with yourself and be comfortable with the decision that you make at the end of the day. That's all we got. All right, it's been fun. All right, yeah. Damn, you crazy. Anyway, it's been fun. It's been real. We had some interesting topics today. Great question from Jamel. Thank you for sending that question. Hopefully, it helped you out. And we will be back next week for another great show with great topics. And until then, next week on the J&K Show, I'm your man, J. Rob, my brother K. Until then, be good. Peace out. We out. Later, y'all. Thanks for watching the J&K Show.